What do you mean you've got some room? Don't you always have room?
What she do to she make? Whatever she does to she make it work it. She push she make it.
Pass it, pass it.
I don't know.
Straight up.
I don't
Straight up
even
on
know
that.
what.
To this side. This side. Next side, next side, next side. Pass it straight up.
It go choke her.
Take off the
Don't choke me.
thing.
Yeah, my gun.
Oh, sorry. Ryan, look in my bag, see if I see a pair of glasses for me, please. At the top of... Yeah, I'm hearing you very nice and clear. Just hook me up as best you can, yeah? Parks, you were getting some information for me? No, yes, you were getting something for me on the end. Jules. And pass my look by Cassie Parks and pass my phone for me, please.
I bung something and started vibrating.
Thank you. Who could bring it for me, please? Thank you. Much appreciated.
She's gonna give you one of
She's gonna give me a
glass tables. Do not break it.
Torah stuff on.
And then she was gonna buy one. I wonder.
She too sweet. Tell she a say.
She knows she's not getting it.
Tell she.
I think she gotta fix it up today.
Yes, that's definitely. Me and you got that in shares or what? You feel me nice see you?
I just take at least a little.
You're leaving this? You want to leave this or?
Heat? I just love the smell of it, but okay.
Yeah.
And it gonna look like a deer. No. Check it and see.
You want it there already?
Just trying to see what it looks on screen.
Joe,
You want to test this?
I think you need your white shop.
I hear you from me and Julian.
That is not my fault. I have to do everything.
Turn on the mic, yeah? Because you can swing. Come on.
How does it look? Let me see the white shot. We done this side up here. Oh, right up here. Okay, now be leaning that way to talk. Yeah. Good morning, viewers. It's Wednesday, 3rd November 2021. This is the Tobago Updates morning show. And yes, we are coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Rhea Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to you, Tobago.
Yes, Rhea, this is one of those mornings, how we like to say, it's the day before the holiday.
The day before the holiday. Julian, let me just put it out there. I missed your morning.
Yes,
and I think
yes.
you just need to start over. I think you need to start
that's
over.
That's important. We're going to listen for that tune by the time we're coming back from one of those segments, morning, so that we remind all our viewers, those of you listening to us in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, throughout the Caribbean region, those of you joining us online, good morning. And just as we do on most, if not all, the mornings thus far, I want to start off with sending out, this morning I'm starting off with an anniversary greeting. And I want to wish a special happy anniversary to Gavin and Giselle Vincent. All right, Rhea, that's a wedding I remember like it was yesterday.
How many years?
Enjoyable. I'll have to verify the years,
well,
right? But I know that they are indeed celebrating young couple, enjoying themselves. If you don't know Gavin and Giselle, well, something is wrong. But certainly, we want to wish a happy anniversary to Gavin and Giselle Vincent. And I also want to take this opportunity to send out birthday greetings to Lara Quentrell Thomas. That's one of my colleagues across there who, from time to time provides, tunes in and also provides a great level of support for young people, youth development work, met her through the Rotary family. So Lara Quentrell Thomas, enjoy your birthday today to the fullest.
Well, very, very nice to hear. And we want to send out some greetings this morning to the Carters, to Mr. and Mrs. Carter. Tobago Updates, love to you, and we trust that you have a really great day, and a special thank you to you as well from the management and staff of the Tobago Updates morning show. As well, switching gears just a little bit, we want to take the opportunity to extend condolences to the Louis family in Tobago on the passing of their relative Sandra Louis, who was attached to the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. Pleasant woman, no nonsense, come straight with her. But she passed away just a few days ago, and we want to take the opportunity to extend condolences to the entire family. So, Julian, it is the day before the holiday,
yes.
And I must say you look fantastic,
yes. Really, I thought it was, it's important. Seeing that, yes, viewers, don't worry, you will be seeing us tomorrow, but I won't be here. For tomorrow's show.
You will be seeing Tobago Updates,
yes,
the morning show.
Yes, the Tobago Updates morning show will be with you tomorrow. So I thought today, Rhea, I would, get into that dress code in terms of my wear specific to celebrating. And I want to take the opportunity to say Shuk Diwali, Happy Diwali, and to trust that persons will indeed, Diwali for me has always been a time where we learned in school about that light over darkness. Right. Really seeking to exemplify that. And I thought the color should reflect that light and that brightness.
Well, it certainly does. You look radiant this morning. Pink is definitely one of your colors. In fact, one of our colors. I'm not seeing that we're really popping on the screen.
And people would think that we actually planned this, right?
We did not. I mean, down to the trousers, viewers, down to the very trousers. So, Julian, give us an idea of what's been happening in the Tobago space.
Well, in the Tobago space, it is the election season. We have seen where, there would have been some documents surfacing via social media. And in fact, it has made national news in terms of the employment practices of the Tobago House of Assembly. And, we had a response coming from the Chief Secretary indicating that they stand by their decision as the Assembly. But I would much prefer to await, because I think most have attempted to reach out to the chairman, who, interesting enough, Dr. Angus, is also running for office. So I am very interested to hear the feedback. We have heard from the Chief Secretary on behalf of the Executive Council, standing by their decision. So it's going to be very interesting to hear from the, Dr. Angus as chairman of the Tobago Festivals Commission on this matter. But I expect things like these and much more because we are in that season, Rhea.
That's right. Well, we are we've got a lot happening on the program this morning, so we'll just share a little bit and that remind our viewers of where we're coming, where we are located and where we're coming to them live from. So coming up on the program in just a little while, we're chatting with Jason Austin, who is the general manager of the Seahorse Inn restaurant, and he'll be chatting about the reopening after the lockdown. Of course, we've been locked down for several months,
Yes.
2020 and 2021, and so talking about how is he managing, how is business surviving post COVID. We're still in the midst of COVID, but this is post lockdown.
Yes.
Okay, so we're chatting with him on the program.
And we can also look out on the program for Janelle Berkeley, program coordinator at the Division of Community Development. She'll be telling us about the upcoming CPEP Skills Seminar that will be taking place within ComDev Week. By now, the entire Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago and the region knows that we have ComDev Week happening.
That's
and
right.
just of course, for those who are not familiar with that abbreviation beyond Tobago, that's Community Development Week.
That's right. That's right. And just to end things off later on in the program, we're chatting with Cindy Ann Currency, who is the operations manager for Digital Foundation, and we're talking about the NGOs. It's a call for Tobago applications for NGOs, and we're going to learn more about that when we chat with her a little bit later
Forgive
on.
me very quickly, Rhea, but let me
Go
make
for your
sure
30
I did that
seconds.
30 seconds very quickly. We're shouting out those persons that continue to share the live and to share the energy and the love. Davina Nelson, Marcus Daniel, Vernel, Maya Hector, Dave Solomon, Curleen, Sandy Mora, Alana, Ned Sutton, Macan Hislop. We want to thank you all for the love and appreciation. Nikiba Fonelier, Xavier Edwards, and Kuki Melville, Cherish Kwashi, Marva Baker, Anton Parks, Rhea Orr, Patricia Edwards Charles, Ricardo Roberts, Shannon Bushy, we have Shirma Carter, Kern Allen, and I think the 30 seconds is up there. Viewers, we continue to thank you for the love and support. At this point, we prepare to go to a break. This is Tobago Updates morning show. We return with Mr. Jason Austin. Viewers, we'll be right back. Stay tuned, and remember, share the live, share the live, share the live.
Morning, good morning, put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're chatting this morning with Mr. Jason Austin, the General Manager of the Seahorse Inn Restaurant. Good morning and welcome to you.
Thank you, Ms. George. Good morning.
It's good to have you. You can call me Ria. Feel free to call me Ria.
Okay, yes.
All right. And now we're talking this morning about reopening after the lockdown. Let's go back a little bit here, Mr. Austin, Jason. About 5-6 months ago, before there was that second lockdown, what was business like for you?
Well, fortunately for us, business was quite good then because we luckily had the Easter weekend.
Right.
So from the New Year into what would have been Carnival when you still had Trinidadian visitors coming over.
Right.
And then to the big Easter weekend. You know, Easter has always been a big thing in Tobago. It was good, you know, and I'm glad to say people were cooperating with the protocols, so it wasn't much of a problem.
Oh, you said it was good. Was it excellent good or was it?
No, unfortunately, I can't say excellent good, but
Okay.
it was enough to butter the bread and make some ends meet.
Good. Happy to hear that. Now let's talk about, you know, what that quarantine period, what did that lockdown do for the business?
This year?
This year.
This year, it was awful. It was truly awful because when they gave the hint that the lockdown was coming, initially we thought it might just be 2 weeks to a month.
Right.
Not 5 to 6 months.
No.
So as the business runs, there was a lot of investment in raw materials, stocks and so on that all went to loss. All went to loss. So it was, the lockdown was pretty awful, something I'd rather not think about, but the reality is that it was terrible.
Let's talk about the psyche of your employees, you know, having to be at home, wondering, you know, having a question mark where their jobs were concerned. What did that do for them?
Well, for them, you know, it was tough for a lot of people because from one week to another, 1 month to another, we weren't sure of what was going on. But
Right.
we as a company did the best that we could for them in terms of we were not able to pay them in full, obviously not.
Right.
But we were able to, you know, we had our chat group. We spoke one-on-one on the phone ever so often to say, look, you know, let's tough it out until
Right.
we were able to, I think I may have mentioned, give them something of their salary. And we said, as soon as we are given a green light to rebound, those of you that are staying on, we're going back guns blazing.
Okay. So now we've been reopened. Now you are back to, what, 50% capacity?
That's right, yes. Mhm.
In-house dining.
Correct.
Right. Your safe zone.
Yes. Mhm.
Right. How are we looking at this point?
At this point, we're not looking too bad. You know, it's still very restrictive. It's some people are still, customers are still coming to terms with the reality of what it is. But we aren't doing too badly. Our staff are out. We are, you know, making sure to keep within the protocols of the safe zone. And I'm glad to say that in that week that we reopened for sit-in dining from October 11th, you asked a while ago, not great, but surprisingly good because I mean, I have to thank our Tobago supporters. And so there were those people who were just ready, saying,
And waiting.
can I come? Can I book to come? And you know, so that show of support was very gratifying.
Okay, let's talk about some of the initiatives that you were able to employ as a result of the lockdown.
Well, what I would say to that is that, you know, when you run a business for X amount of years and your customers expect that level of food quality, atmosphere, service, you know, we did a little crash course to remind staff of what we need to do, how we want to try and shine. We've been doing maintenance around the building before reopening.
Right.
And, you know, you feel a level of accomplishment when you do what's necessary for the protocol. So we've put in the sanitizing machines.
Right.
We make sure that a member of staff or two are in charge of sanitizing the high traffic areas regularly,
Right.
so that the customers can see that you know, efforts are being made to protect them, protect ourselves and protect them. Everybody wears their masks, so that you know, we're in it,
Right.
in the system to try and keep everybody as comfortable as possible and move forward business-wise.
Okay. Now remind our viewers this morning of what what the Seahorse Inn offers. Is it only dining? Is it accommodation? What do you offer?
To a very limited extent, we offer bed and breakfast accommodation. We've only got 3 rooms based on double occupancy right there on the seaside at Grafton Beach Road. We do offer takeout service every day. Our kitchen opens at 1:30 to 8:30 every day.
Right.
Takeout begins at 1:30. Dine-in service with us begins at 4 o'clock. So that, yes, there is takeaway and there is dine-in. We have offered quite a bit of stuff. There's seafood, of course, as the name might lend to. There's beef
But we would hate to think that you will see Seahorse Inn and not have
seafood.
Not have seafood.
We have a good bit of seafood and vegetarian options, halal meats, so that we try to have a little something for everyone. There's a children's menu.
Okay.
And, people, if they have any special requests, can call in 2 or 3 days in advance to plan what they may, they may need that we can prepare for them, hitting the nail on the head.
Okay, are there any packages being offered for foreigners who are looking on, recognizing that, well, Tobago has opened up, Trinidad and Tobago has opened up?
I have to say at this time, no, not quite as yet. It's something that may come into play a little later on, but we know that some of those international flights just began October, going into this month, so there aren't that many foreigners here as yet, but when that time comes, we would probably look at make something that's attractive to them.
So what is next for the Seahorse Inn restaurant?
Keep going and hopefully make another 26 years. We've been in it for that long, and that I don't want to seem to brag about anything much, but as an established business in Tobago, contributing to Tobago society and so on, we just wanted to stay with it, keep pleasing our customers, and carry on.
Now, I hear you talking a lot about, things are good, not the best, but it's good.
Right.
But how do you plan on sustaining what exists?
Well, there's
what measures are in place?
Yeah, there's regular communication via a customer database. From time to time, some sort of meal special or so that is advertised on social media and so beforehand. Just those little things that these days it's all about social media. So you try to keep your name out there to stay consistent and let people know what's going on and let them know that we're open, we're ready for business, and we're here for them.
And what advice would you give to other business owners, particularly in the food and beverage industry?
Don't give up too easily. Keep your product consistent and let people know that you are in operation. Don't try not to let your name fade. When as people say, out of sight, out of mind. When your name fades or they don't know what's going on, then you aren't really an option. But try as best as possible to stick with it. Hopefully, overheads can be met. As I always say, things can only get better.
Okay.
From one day to the next, things can only get better after the past 2 years that we've gone through.
Is there any support from the Chamber
of Commerce?
Chamber of Commerce with regards?
I'm not certain. I'd rather not comment on that. I'm not entirely certain on that.
You're not certain on that. All right. Any support from the Tobago House of Assembly?
Yes, we do get quite a bit of support from various departments of the House of Assembly. And they themselves have their marketing thrusts from time to time in which the majority of businesses that have been around for a while are mentioned, supported, sponsored to some extent. So yes, there is support from them.
All right. I wanted to ask very quickly here about the local tourism. More persons coming from Trinidad as opposed to outside.
These days, yes.
What have the numbers been like so far?
How do you want me to answer numbers in terms of weekly, monthly?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if it's safe to go monthly because it's just been just about a month.
About a month. With the dine-in, a month with the dine-in, there have been some takeouts. The numbers have been, smaller than
usual.
Than usual, especially with the beaches being closed as one of the stipulations of trying to keep everybody safe. Why would people leave Trinidad, your home in Trinidad, to come and stay in a home and not be able to go to the beach? But
in Tobago.
But there are some fairly good numbers. There are people that just want to get away from their home, I mean, I know I've just contradicted what I said, but just 2-3 days, just get away from the norm. Get away from the kids on the laptops at home all the time. There are people that do business that may spend the night and so on. There are property owners, people that own properties here that would need to come and check on them. So there is that bit of local tourism carrying on.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for chatting with us this morning,
Very
Mr.
welcome.
Jason
Thank you.
Austin. And it's, viewers, we're talking about, reopening after the lockdown, and this is not easy it's by any stretch of the imagination. So we've got to keep going, wake up every day and just keep going and keep doing what we do. So all the best to you.
Thank you very much,
And the staff at the Seahorse Inn. Viewers, we're going to take a break. In fact, we're going to go to the good stuff. Yeah, we're going to go to the good stuff. One of those mornings then when everything is just sticking up. All right, so we're going to go over to the good stuff. And in our good stuff news today, Miss Oralyn Lincoln, a past student of Signal Hills Secondary School, who also graduated with honors from the University of Trinidad and Tobago with a degree in education. A very busy young lady. She started Tobago Sports Live at the age of 25, a platform showcasing Tobago athletes. You could see her at sport events, shooting camera, or assisting with the technical aspects. Ms. Lincoln is one of the recognized female football referees in Tobago, an athletic coach at RSS Phoenix, physical education teacher at Signal Hill Secondary School, and committee member of TFA Women Development and SSFL Media. All this is achieved by the age of 29. Thank you, Ms. Lincoln, for your continued contributions towards youth sports in Tobago. And a happy birthday to you as you celebrate your 29th birthday tomorrow. So lots of love going out to you this morning. So if you know someone or anything you would like to have featured on The Good Stuff, you can email us at info@tobagoupdates.com or call or WhatsApp 284-6597. We'll take a break at this time. When we come back, lots more happening on the Tobago Updates morning show.
A Quartz Black Friday sale with the best-selling brands, best deals, and best offers all month long. You don't want to miss your chance to save on wow deals. Save on smart TVs, major appliances, furniture, bedroom and dining, with lots more to choose from. Shop today with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing for 90 days. Don't miss this Black Friday sales event. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
Morning, good morning, put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Morning, it's 7:25 a.m. and this is the Tobago Updates morning show coming to you from the Port Mall in Scarborough. In this segment, viewers, we are chatting with Janelle Berkeley, Program Coordinator within the Division of Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labor. And as you will recognize, over the course of the week, we are speaking about Community Development Week here in Tobago. Good morning, Janelle.
Hi, good morning, Julie.
All right, how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, so today we are chatting specifically about a seminar that speaks to survival and coping.
Yes.
Just give me the full idea of what we're looking at.
Okay, so on Thursday, the 11th of November, the CPEP units would be hosting a webinar on surviving grief in a pandemic.
Right.
Yeah, so we know that this pandemic would have caused us to grieve differently. You know, in Tobago, we are accustomed to in-person grieving, mourning, reaching out to persons, and that would have been curtailed a bit due to the public health regulations and so forth. And particularly with my units, I would have suffered, you know, loss of staff. For this year, I would have had about 8 members of staff that would have died. And I'm like, do I have staff that reaching out would want to talk, would want to experience and open up about this? And I'm saying, but this is not unique to the program. This is happening island-wide.
Yes.
Yeah? So the seminar is targeting that, your emotions in terms of expressing grief, and it's open to the entire Tobago public.
And that's so important at this time because we are treating with a pandemic where, you know, as the days go by, you know, you're hearing persons that are no longer here with us.
Yes.
And it's a very challenging kind of situation.
Definitely.
As I like to tell persons, especially when it begins to get closer to home.
Definitely.
Whether it's literally somebody in your community or somebody within your workspace, somebody you have gone to church with, somebody that you interact with, the reality starts to step in even more. So the session takes place on Thursday, the 11th of November.
Yes.
It's surviving and coping with grief in a pandemic.
Yes.
Who is the session targeted at? Is it just within, I know you mentioned staff, is it just staff or it's going to be open to the general public?
No, it's going to be streamed live, so persons could look out for the login information on the division's Facebook page. But what we intend to do, we're supposed to have a moderator, so we're hoping to take comments from persons, from the members of the public that are not, you know, in the, what you call maybe the live studio audience, right? We have facilitators. So we have Miss Carol Daniel, who is a therapeutic counselor at the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development. We also have a member of staff who is a religious leader, Pastor Rex Henry, who is associated with the Wesleyan Holiness Church. So they would be facilitating the session. And interestingly, we didn't want to have just the general webinar where persons come and talk. What we're doing is that we're capturing stories from the CPEP staff.
Nice.
Right? So I have members of staff. So we have it from a supervisor who would have lost a subordinate.
Good.
His perspective.
And they're ready to tell that
story?
story?
Yes, they are ready. And we have co-workers. So you may have been sitting across the desk from someone who would have passed. So they're sharing their story of grief. We would have had one of the families of one of the deceased to share their story. So we are getting it, it's not only affecting us at work, but how they feel at home. And we also have members on the field because, you know, my operation is both administrative.
Yes. I was not getting to that.
You know, operational, environmental work. So we have the perspective of the persons on the field because, you know, the loss is not only from the office, but from my field staff as well. So we have 4 different perspectives of grief, persons just sharing openly, and we would be pulling the topics that would be expressed from that. You know, you would get things about depression, you know, if they suffered anxiety or stress, you know, that kind of thing. So we're using that as the impetus to bring forward the discussion on the day. So it's going to be interesting.
And you know, I like the fact that you've extended so much, and it takes me directly to my next question. Just to shift a little bit from the seminar itself that's going to take place. As a young person sitting with this responsibility as coordinator for CPEP, one of the things we've recognized is that CPEP has transitioned to just a basic programs, as they used to say, that just paint stones and deal with parks. Give us a snapshot of, you know, that, how do you summarize, how do you put that summary to defining CPEP now within the division?
Well, it's community-based environmental protection and enhancement. So we not only look at our physical environment, but we do programs and initiatives that enhance our communities, touch the lives of others. So we have our environmental works that we would do, which is landscaping, park maintenance, that sort of thing, coastal maintenance. We also have a senior citizens program where we, you know, provide maintenance services for persons 65 years and older who are not able to do it, persons who are disabled, that kind of thing. We also have some agricultural projects that we do, and most of our yield or harvest, you know, is donated because we are part of community development. So, you know, we are treating and dealing with people. So it has extended way beyond that, and of course, my family, my CPEP family, as I like to call it, is 500 strong. So, you know, there are the times when we have to do social programs to help ourselves. Just recently, we would have done within the staff a school distribution drive. You know, we would have identified the CPEP families that are really in need, and we would have taken it up as our social responsibility, so to speak. You know, and we say charity begins at home, so we would have, you know, reached out to them. So it is more than meets the eye at CPEP.
And I particularly like that, and you know, let me shout out Michelle Boris here this morning. She was on a little earlier in the week, you know, and this just ties in very much to what she spoke of, the broader mandate in terms of community development week as set out by Secretary Marsden Melville Jack. Because I think one of the things that's definitely commendable for this community development week is you see almost every arm of the division. You know, traditionally when you talk division of community development, enterprise development and labor, people might just think you're talking about the 3 departments, but you rarely see a greater level of involvement. So can we also expect to see some of those produce in the hamper distribution that Michelle spoke about earlier in the week?
Sure, because we're practicing organic farming, so whatever our harvest is, we would of course put it with the hampers.
To be able to put it forward. All right, tell me something. Beyond the seminar that takes place, is there any kind of additional support generally provided through the division in treating with, you know, challenges for persons who have experienced loss and certainly experiencing grief? Because we know that it's going to be more challenging for some than others.
Okay. So we have quite a good network with the other divisions in the Tobago House of Assembly. So I know there's the Employee Assistance Program, so persons can reach out through there. But we have such a good rapport with the other divisions so that once, you know, we have the information, it is passed on to the relevant divisions. And
I know that, well, I know at least one of your facilitators, Carol. I've done sessions with her before, and she's indeed dynamic and engaging. In terms of your numbers, I want to assume quite naturally there are no limits you're looking at, because in this instance, you're trying. Give us a sense.
It's live. So we would have an in-house audience of about 25 persons, of course, adhering to the public health regulations, properly spaced and social distance and so forth. But it's going to be live, so we expect persons could log on and view the webinar.
Right. Well, I know the space is large enough because I remember distinctly again, Secretary saying at Post Exec, she said all events will be coming live from the division's conference room. So it's good to know, because it is critical, especially because of the nature of what we're speaking about, that you give that reassurance to the public that any sort of coming together will certainly enforce the COVID regulations and protocols.
And the Department of USH is part of our division, so you know they will ensure that we adhere to the public
That you
health.
adhere to it. So again, we just want to remind the persons, when is it taking place and the session?
All right, thanks. So it's next Thursday, the 11th of November at 10 a.m., right? So it's scheduled for 2 to 3 hours, but you never know with these types of discussions how things would go, right? It's going to be live from the division's Facebook page, live streaming. Persons can look out on the Facebook page for the login information, right? And just to recap, our facilitators, Ms. Carol Daniel, who is a therapeutic counselor, and Pastor Rex Henry of the Wesleyan Holiness Church. And we just encourage persons to tap in, share, and we'll also be providing information for the public in terms of if they are experiencing any of these, challenges and they have issues coping with grief, where to seek help.
To be able to seek help.
Yes,
and one of the things we want to do before we wrap up the interview as well is we want to touch on the broader week. So I don't know if you want to assist with just reminding our viewers, because I know it gets started on Monday, the 8th. So just give us a snapshot of the lineup for the week.
No problem. So Community Development Week, November 8th to November 12th. And the theme is Celebrating Our Resilience. Yes, so Monday we start off with a Thanksgiving service. On Tuesday we have the graduation ceremony for the vocational skills. On Wednesday we have the webinar that would be championed by the USH department. On Thursday we have the Surviving Grief in a Pandemic by the CPEP unit. On Friday we have the Business Expo, the virtual experience, that would be by the Business Development Unit. And we also have a treasure hunt for the staff. Nice. Yes, so it's going to be a week full of excitement.
All right, so certainly. Is there anything else you would want to share with the public in anticipation and, really getting them to understand the importance?
Right, well, I'll just tell them to stay tuned to the division's Facebook page because all the information is going to be there. You don't want to miss out on all the activities that we have or at the division of Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labor starting from November 8th.
And I really want to also take the opportunity to commend in terms of the CPEP family. Yes. I really like, I know a few years ago when we would have had those opportunities for interdepartment and the different events, I think that's the first time I kind of got an opportunity to see, wow, the full CPEP family in effect and support. How have you all been able to build that kind of unification within the program?
Well, we focus on people. So we know that it's a social program and we would have persons from all walks of life. But we instill in our supervisors that, you have to listen, you have to reach out, and then together we come up with solutions in terms of moving the program forward. So we try to reach each other on each other's level, and we just ensure that we listen and we go forward together, take the mandate
in keeping with our tourism trust as well.
Sure.
Would you define the CPEP program as critical?
Critical, because we are the premier institution or the premier agency of the THA that, we're out there every day within the environment. So we are very instrumental in keeping the Tourism Trust of Tobago alive.
Excellent. Viewers, certainly there, Janelle reminding us, and this is an opportunity to say good morning as well to the CPEP family. I'm sure that they're proud.
Good morning.
And I think, commendable at that. It's always impressive when you see young leaders within our government system that doesn't lead simply by sitting in the office. I know you are generally, sometimes I'm in contact with you, you're out in the field, you are up and around, engaging and so on. How has that also helped you quite naturally by virtue of being able to fulfill that broader responsibility as coordinator for the program?
Well, it has taught me the ins and outs of Tobago because I have teams from Charlottesville to Crown Point and in between. And sometimes some of our projects are not, the ones that are highly visible. Sometimes we're reaching communities, on the little corner road or the side road. So it has taught me to interact, certainly improved my interpersonal skills because, sometimes you go and you have an issue, but you have to treat with persons and you have to understand. And certainly, communication is key in this program. So I know Tobago. I know from this program, it has taught me the ins and outs of Tobago.
I have no fear, man. And I'm sure Tobago isn't worried either. And you see, also getting the love and support coming out on the live as well from those tuned in, really commending the approach. And folks, it's really so important to commend when there is good work and when there's excellent work, because traditionally we have treated, you know, in terms of that area, you know, by the way.
Yes.
It's not as critical. And I've grown up in a household where I'm made to understand that every responsibility in this world has a critical part to play.
Definitely.
And very important that once we all do our work collectively, it helps us to be able to move forward. Just again, is there anything that we want to look forward to? Anything that you want to let out the bag just a little bit? And your secretary is also tuned in. Good morning, Secretary Marceline Melville Jack.
What I would say is that everyone should be tuned. The entire Community Development Week is going to be fantastic. You know, although we are shifting more to a virtual experience, but that has not diminished the quality of the programs that are going to be on next week. So everyone should be locked in. Block it into your calendars. From the 8th to the 12th of November, ComDev Week, you need to tune in.
All right. As I said to your colleagues that we interviewed earlier this week, no pressure, but the expectation is high. Your secretary led the tone at Exec Council, and every other appearance that we have had thus far speaks very highly, so that we know that this is the highly anticipated Community Development Week being hosted by the Division of Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labor within the Tobago House of Assembly. So folks, we have had here this morning on set in this segment, Janelle Berkeley, Program Coordinator within the Division of Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labor. Thank you very much again, Janelle, for your contribution here this morning. Viewers, we continue to remind you to ensure that you share the live, share the live, share the live. This is Tobago Updates Morning Show. We go to a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Good morning, good morning, put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Whoa! It's the Quartz Black Friday sale. With the best-selling brands, best deals, and best offers all month long. You don't want to miss your chance to save on wow deals. Save on smart TVs, major appliances, furniture, bedroom and dining, with lots more to choose from. Shop today with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing for 90 days. Don't miss this Black Friday sales event. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And it is a beautiful morning. We're still here in your company. And we just want to remind you that we're coming to you live from the Port Mall, 3rd floor, Port Mall, Lower Scarborough, not upper, lower. I love to say the Lower Scarborough. The view is excellent.
Excellent indeed. And, you know, we just usually have to connect with our live viewers as well, those joining us online. So let me shout out to Kuki Melville, Marva Baker, Keston Williams, Marcelin Melville Jack. We also have Danielle Hodge tuned in, Akisha McCain, Shuma Carter, Roxanne Grant, beautiful, lovely, Joan Richardson, that must be your family.
That's
Dora
my
Lyons, Ascala George, Glendora Lashley, Teresa Allen, and of course, Latoya Anderson.
Oh,
all right.
Every morning.
Thank you so much for the love and support, and we continue to be encouraged as we go forward. In this segment coming up, Rhea, who do we have?
Okay, so in this segment, Julian, we are chatting with Cindy Ann Currency, who is the operations manager of the Digital Foundation, and it's all about a call for Tobago NGOs. So I think we should have Cindy Ann on the line. Good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, my dear. It's a pleasure to have you on the program with us. Now, Cindy Ann, just remind our viewers, where were you coming to us live from?
Oh, right now I'm in Trinidad. I'm coming to you live from the digital headquarters in the Anchor Center in Sinclair.
Okay, so you're loud and clear.
But Rhea, I must add in, Cindy is one of those guests that's in love with Tobago. I think Cindy has a picture of Tobago up in some part. I saw her post about that, up in some part of her room. Correct, Cindy? I've known Cindy for a while. Good morning, Cindy.
You're snooping on my Facebook. Yes, I am.
So we're happy to have you on Tobago Updates morning show. Go ahead,
He put you on blast this morning. He certainly put you on blast. All right, so Cindy, let's talk a little bit here about a call for Tobago NGOs. Give us an idea of, you know, what Digicel has, the Digicel Foundation has been up to, and with regards to this call for NGOs.
All right, so we are, you know, we're at a space where we're still trying to find the best way to engage with our communities. And the best way for us to do that and to do that safely and to make sure it's done effectively and efficiently is to really reach out to all the non-governmental organizations and the community-based organizations that have been doing what they've been doing. Now, the way we're doing things have changed a bit due to COVID-19, but why we're doing it, that still remains the same. And so reaching out to our Tobago NGOs and community-based organizations to get them to participate in this call is just another strategy that we've been, you know, of all the other strategies that we've been trying to engage with our communities. Now, this call in particular is only for Tobago, right? So we made sure to target our social media only to Tobagonians, only to nonprofit organizations that have a space or they have a presence on the digital side. We also reaching out to the TV stations. I was so happy to get this call from Anton to be here, our radio stations, trying to reach out to these organizations. Now, Digicel Foundation is no stranger to Tobago. We have done work with Tobago since 2013, I believe, with about, over 20 organizations. But we still need to know a bit more of all the other groups that are working out there. This year in particular, we actually launched an initiative. It was called Standing Together, where we were able to provide 1,000 families with $500 food vouchers, grocery vouchers. And we partnered with two groups in Tobago, the Tobago Youth Council, as well as Women of Substance. We do a lot of work in the area of special needs. So we work with the 3 special needs institutions on the island. And then, of course, the police youth clubs, Roxborough, Mount St. George. We've done work with some of the youth groups as well. So we are here, putting out this call for registered groups to apply for funding up to $150,000. Your project in particular has to be something that is open to the entire community. We're looking at projects that maybe implements a physical infrastructure, something that doesn't last 8 months. So we're looking at maybe 6 to 8 weeks because we want all of the projects to close off by February or early March next year. And only registered groups can apply for the funding, and you must be from Tobago, right? So it's pretty much out there, and we're just trying to look at the feedback that we get from Tobagonians, some groups there, to see how we can move forward.
With defining registered, because particularly in our Tobago space, we have some groups that are registered with various divisions within the Tobago House of Assembly. Then there's a registration by virtue of NGOs now that speak with a greater level of registration in terms of the ministries and so on. So just define registered community-based organizations for the benefit of those viewing.
So if you're registered with a division in Tobago, that's perfect. That's fine as well. But we know that there are some other larger NGOs that probably went through that process of being registered with the Nonprofit Act, etc. And it's fine. Registered means that you need to show us proof that you are registered, that you are aligned, and that you've gone through that criteria, as well as having a bank account in the group's name. Like, those things are really important, because as a funding donor, we sometimes, make the payment available to the groups, and then they go out and they do their work and they do their checks and balances. Now, in this instance, we may decide to, do the funding ourselves, but it's still good to engage with groups that have all their ducks in a row. And being registered is one. Whether you're registered with the THA, with the division, that's perfect, because you're operating in Tobago, and therefore it means that we can then reach out to the division to verify that this group is actually legitimate. They will know best. So we are open to working with that. It's also through a partnership with the division. Earlier this year, we partnered with the Ministry of Sport and Community Development to engage with communities. We decided to adopt 2 communities as part of their Sustainable Development Initiative. And we understand that there's a community in Tobago that was already adopted, and we wanted to do something similar. So we reached out to the division at THA. It's a very long name, and I can never get it right, and I'm so sorry, but I know it's division. Yeah, it's a very long name. This is with Michelle Burris, right? Her team and
Enterprise Development and Labor.
Right. I'm so sorry that I just could never get the entire name, and I don't like leaving things out. So we reached out to them, and we're working closely with them to say, reach out to your groups on the ground, let them know that this is happening, and let's see how we can help all the groups to apply, and then work things through and see who will, or maybe more than one group will get the funding.
So, Cindy, I just wanted a follow-up question specific to the project proposal submission. What are the key elements that you might be looking for, or suggest that people definitely ensure is included in their project proposal submission?
Okay, so what we have is that we have a digital form. So there's an actual Microsoft form that you can fill in, but we know some groups like to send in proposals, and that's fine. I'm a reader, I'll read it. We are looking for innovation, right? We are looking for, if you could put something in digital, that's also an asset, because we have to understand our relationship with our parent company, Digicel, and we're always looking for innovation in the digital space. We are looking for projects that encompass the entire community. So while we will work with faith-based organizations, it can't limit the activity for just the persons of that particular religious persuasion. So it must be open to the community. We are looking for projects, again, sorry?
Go ahead.
We are looking for projects, again, that can be implemented within a 6 to 8 week period. We understand that there are delays. I mean, every week we have changes here that set us back, but it can't be a project that's going on for 8 months, because our financial year closes in March. So we'd want to be able to wrap it up. And we're looking for projects that, I think that's about it, that you have to meet the budget as well, that 150,000. It can't be more than the 150,000. Digicel Foundation is not the type of organization to give you funding of 150,000, and then you have to go out there and look for funding elsewhere to finish the initiative. So whatever it is, it must be able to be completed within the budget that you've submitted to us and the time frame.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the other projects, and you hinted to one of them a little earlier on. Earlier this year, you had the food vouchers,
right, standing together.
$500,000, right, standing together. What are some of the other programs, projects that you've got coming up?
Okay, so what we have, well, I can't tell you coming up, because we're actually winding down our financial year. It started in April, so we are trying to finish projects that for this particular year. But in the past, what we've been doing is we've worked with the police youth clubs, as I said. We've even worked with some of the village councils. Bethel Village Council. We're looking for different community partners within Tobago, so that we can, see what are the needs, what exactly do you want. And sometimes doing a grant initiative like this, where there's funding and it doesn't really tell you what type of project, is the easiest way for us to get a finger on the pulse as to what's happening on the island and what do the groups really need and what's really being called for. But to say that we have anything else coming up other than Christmas, which is a surprise, and I could touch base with you all in a few weeks to talk about Christmas, there isn't anything else. We're just trying to get as much groups involved as possible, so we can make 2020 into a fantastic year in spite of the challenges that we've all had.
Well,
Okay.
we can also say immediately to the Digicel Foundation, we'll also be happy to have Cindy here in Tobago in studio for that
Cindy will be
Christmas,
happy.
for that
Cindy will be
Christmas,
happy.
for that Christmas update. Very quickly, Cindy, I just wanted you to give a nice quick summary, just so that people understand. I know it's not the first time that the Digicel Foundation is doing this kind of activity. Tell us about at least one outstanding project that has been done in the past, you know, just to give viewers that sense of it is within your reach and it is accessible by a Tobago group.
Okay, so I'll give you two. One, the Roxborough Police Youth Club a couple of years ago applied for funding from us through our EPIC grants, which is extraordinary projects impacting communities. They got about $5,000 to upgrade or to add on a gym at their police youth club, and this gym is just to get them to get the community encouraged, elderly people, even some of their young people encouraged into fitness, into well-being, into exercising. And he had his gym instructors that they would volunteer their time to do it, and that was one really great project for Roxborough, because at that time, Mr. Collis, he told us that the nearest gym was like in Scarborough. So this was something really big for that part of the island. And the other project I would tell you would be one of our special schools, Tobago Happy Haven. They applied, I think through a Rotary Club, applied for funding to put a play park at the school so that the children can come outside and do their outdoor play. And if you know anything about children with special needs, it's never just play for them. You know, it's part of their therapy, it's part of their development, it's part of their socialization skills. So those are really two great projects. I could give you one more. We did an aquaponics program. We did an aquaponics program.
Deadline as well for submissions as well.
Yes.
Deadline for submissions.
Deadline for submissions is November 10th, so it's next Wednesday, right? But again, persons can reach out to me via email or on Facebook. Our Facebook handle is Digicel Foundation TT on both Facebook and on Instagram. You can also send us an email at digicelfoundationtt@digicelgroup.com.
So we can get some more information there, certainly. But Cindy,
Yes.
it was a pleasure chatting with you this morning.
As always. Thank you, Cindy.
Thanks for having me, Ria. Thank you, Lillian.
You're welcome. I know she wishes she were here, right here in Tobago. All right. So viewers, we go to this day in history, and then we go to a break, and we'll be back just after that.
This day in Tobago history. Did you know that on this day, November 3rd, 1994, the chairman of the Tobago House of Assembly, Lennox Denoon, evicted TTT cameras from the Assembly plenary meeting? Tony Abraham had been covering plenary sessions on behalf of TTT for some time and had usually never filmed the meetings in their entirety. The meetings were usually marathon sessions, sometimes lasting 5 hours or even more. As a result, Mr. Abraham would make the decision on which speakers to record according to, as he put it, what was newsworthy. At the plenary session 26 years ago, the then Secretary Hotroy Charles was to defend himself against charges of political interference at the Scarborough Hospital. As a result, when Secretary Charles rose to speak, Mr. Abraham turned on his overhead lights and was about to film. It was at this point that Chairman Denoon ordered Abraham out of the Assembly chamber. Earlier, Mr. Abraham had been present since the start of the meeting, but only began recording when PNM Assemblyman William McKenzie began to speak. This did not sit well with Mr. Denoon, and he immediately ordered Mr. Abraham to stop recording, as he had not filmed any of the previous speakers, including Leader of Assembly Business, Councillor Gerald McFarlane, who opened the debate. Upon turning on his overhead lights, as Mr. Charles got up to speak, Chairman Denoon instructed Mr. Abraham to take those lights off and declared that he was not going to allow any showmanship in the House. He rebuked the cameraman for not filming all of the previous speakers and directed him to pack up his camera equipment and leave the chamber. This was This Day in Tobago history. I am Devon of Dana. Back to you.
Morning. Yes, viewers, it's Wednesday, the 3rd of November 2021, and we are in the final segment here this morning. This is the Tobago Updates morning show. Ria, it has been a great morning, engaging and interacting as always, and certainly our online audience keeping abreast and keeping in touch with what's happening here. We just want to remind all that our sponsors for the Tobago Update Morning Show, thank you to Courts, Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago, Caroline Birchwood, James, as well as Here Sanctuary, and to remind persons as well that you continue to view us on M&E TV, and that's on Flow, Digicel, Amplia, Airlink, Blink, and Trico. And then those of you that continue to connect with us online, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. So we've got sending out another good morning to Ray and Liz Richardson, and to Carissa Richardson Gordon, or is it Carissa Gordon Richardson? Carissa, good morning to you. Yes, good morning to you. And Cameron, hope you have a really great day today. And to Helena Isaac Nelson, who has been viewing as well. I see Helena's name popping up. Helena's name popping up ever so often. And Roxanne Grant, Nadine Nichols, thank you for joining us on the live this morning. So, yeah, Julian Skeet as well. Julian Skeet as well.
We got to be in the mix. This is
That's
Tobago
right.
Updates. We do it different. It's not just about chatting with you here live on camera, but every time we get that opportunity, we check in to make sure we're following what's happening within the live. This is what Tobago Updates is all about, folks.
All right.
We go into tomorrow.
We're going to tomorrow. So tomorrow is our Diwali special. Julian is not going to be here. So I will be with you. So we trust that you look at us, you log on, you share the link, share the live, and we'll see you tomorrow. So have a great day, Tobago.
And this is my advance. Happy Diwali greetings. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.